Everyone loves you, but no one knows you. They praise your achievements, admire your kindness, appreciate how you never cause problems. But late at night, when you're alone with your thoughts, you feel completely empty, hollow, like you're performing a role that was never meant for you. What if I told you that the version of yourself that everyone loves is slowly killing the person you actually are? Carl Jung called this psychological phenomenon the persona, and it might be the most dangerous trap of modern life. Jung understood that we all wear masks. The persona, he said, is the character we perform to fit into society, to be accepted, to avoid conflict. It's the good student, the helpful colleague, the perfect partner. And at first, this mask serves us well. It helps us navigate social situations, gain approval, feel safe in a complex world. But here's what Jung discovered that most people never realize. The longer you wear the mask, the more it fuses with your identity. Until one day, you can't tell where the performance ends and you begin. Let me tell you about Alexandra. She was the golden child of her corporate firm, never missed a deadline, never complained about overtime, always said yes to extra projects. Her colleagues loved her. Her boss praised her. She was everything a perfect employee should be. But Alexandra had a secret. Every Sunday night, she would sit in her car in the parking garage before going up to her apartment, and she would scream. Not from sadness or anger, but from a suffocating sense that she was disappearing. The perfect employee everyone loved wasn't her, it was a character she had created to survive. Jung warned that when we live too long in the persona, we pay a psychological price. The authentic self, your real desires, your genuine emotions, your true values, doesn't disappear. It goes underground. It becomes what Jung called the shadow. And the shadow doesn't stay quiet forever. It shows up as depression you can't explain, anxiety that seems to come from nowhere, relationships that feel hollow, achievements that bring no satisfaction. It's your authentic self trying to break free from the prison of performance. We live in a culture that rewards performance and punishes authenticity. Social media amplifies this. We curate perfect versions of ourselves, measuring worth through likes and comments. We learn early that being real is risky, but being palatable is profitable. Jung saw this coming decades before Instagram existed. He understood that modern society would create more sophisticated ways to pressure us into personas. The price of admission to social acceptance became the abandonment of the authentic self. The breaking point came for Alexandra during what should have been her moment of triumph. She had just received a promotion, and as her colleagues congratulated her, she felt absolutely nothing. Worse than nothing, she felt like she was watching someone else's life. That night, she did something she hadn't done in years. She looked at herself in the mirror, really looked, and asked, "Who are you when no one is watching?" The answer terrified her. She didn't know. The perfect employee had become so convincing that she had forgotten the person underneath. Jung called this moment the confrontation with the shadow. It's terrifying because it means acknowledging that much of what you thought was you was actually just a performance. But it's also liberating because it's the first step toward becoming who you actually are instead of who you think you should be. The question isn't whether you have a persona, everyone does. The question is whether you know the difference between your mask and your face. Pause here for a moment. Think about your own life. What mask are you wearing right now? What role are you performing that feels exhausting but necessary? What part of yourself have you buried so deep that you've almost forgotten it exists? Share in the comments below what's one authentic part of yourself that you've been hiding behind your persona. Your honesty might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to start their own journey back to themselves. Alexandra's transformation didn't happen overnight. It began with small acts of authenticity. She started saying no to projects that drained her soul. She began expressing opinions that differed from the group consensus. Most remarkably, she started painting again, something she had abandoned because it wasn't practical or professional. Her colleagues noticed the change. Some were uncomfortable with this new, more real version of Alexandra. But something interesting happened. The people who truly mattered, who were capable of real connection, were drawn to her authenticity, like they had been waiting for it all along. Jung never promised that dropping your persona would be easy or comfortable. When you stop performing the role everyone expects, you will lose some people. They were never connected to you, they were connected to your mask. And that loss, while painful, is also a gift. It creates space for connections that see and celebrate your authentic self. The hardest truth about authenticity is this: it requires you to disappoint people who were never really satisfied with you anyway. They were satisfied with your performance. Jung called the integration of persona and shadow individuation, the process of becoming psychologically whole. This doesn't mean abandoning all social masks completely. It means consciously choosing when to wear them, knowing the difference between adaptation and abandonment of self. True psychological maturity isn't about being the same person in every situation. It's about being authentic to your core values while adapting your expression to different contexts. The mask becomes a tool you use consciously, not a prison that uses you. So I ask you, are you ready to disappoint people who were never truly satisfied with you anyway? Are you ready to lose connections that were based on performance rather than presence? Are you ready to discover what happens when you stop trying to be perfect and start trying to be real? The mask you wear might have kept you safe, but it's also keeping you from the life you're meant to live. Jung believed that the privilege of a lifetime is becoming who you truly are. That journey begins the moment you have the courage to take off the mask. If this message resonated with something deep inside you, let me know in the comments by writing "I choose authenticity." Subscribe for more content about psychology, personal growth, and the courage to be real in a world that profits from your performance. Remember, you were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real. And your real self, flaws, complexities, and all is far more valuable than any mask you could ever wear.